Hello and good morning. How are we? It is Tuesday the 17th, I believe. Let's just get some stamps put out. Check that I'm live in the right place. Look a bit, view's not great, but I'm going to leave it for now. It's just a refresh. Alfie's getting excited. As usual, wondering who I'm talking to. Who is going to be joining me this morning? Stamping with new products again from the mini catalogue, and also I've got a Sale-a-Bration set that I am crafting with this morning. Go and lie on your bed, you. Good boy. Good boy. He's such a good boy. Say that and then he comes back for more fuss. So yeah, going to be using Petal Park, which is, I'm finding it really hard to put down. We've got the fabulous punch that coordinates with that. Then I'm going to be using a Sale-a-Bration stamp set called Thanks a Bunch. Now, it's rather a strange one when you first look at it because it's got carrots on it, and I don't know why we have these stamp sets with fruit and veg on. But I'm going to show you a way that I would use it. I would definitely stamp things with carrots on for my friends who are gardeners like me, and I think that would be perfect. But for some of you, you'd find that really random, like, why would I want a stamp set with carrots on? So I thought I'd show you how handy it can be. Alfie's being really persistent. He's like nudging my elbow. Just gonna ignore him. Good morning, Lisa. How are you doing? Good morning, Lucy Ann. It's a chilly one out there this morning, so we've had a real dip in temperatures. It was lovely and frosty. Jason left early this morning because our road is closed out of here at the moment due to flood water. I don't know if it's actually, it is flood water, but it's just where levels have risen. It's not actually the river has come over, it's just, anyway, it always floods, and we've been waiting for it to happen. We've had so much rain. Good morning, Helen. How are you doing? We've had so much rain, so yesterday morning they actually closed it. And there is a detour, but that cut-through road just gets absolutely crazy. And the queues at the other end of the cut-through, they're just horrendous. So it really doesn't pay to leave the house unless I need to. There is a very long way round via the motorway. If I had to get out, I'm not completely stranded. There is also another, there are several cut-throughs, but because of where we live, most of those are cut off and flooded. So not ideal. And I've totally digressed and forgot where I was going on that, but I was talking about the weather. But today it is frosty, so I was saying that Jason left early this morning to try and sort of beat traffic. He normally goes by 7, but he was gone before that. And I wandered around the garden with the torch, and the ground was just glistening because it was still pitch. And yeah, it was so pretty. Alfie quite likes the frost. But yeah, very chilly. They've said it's going to be, it could get up to like 3 degrees today, but it's going to feel more like -1. But yeah, it's definitely very fresh out there, but lovely, dry, bit of blue sky happening. Right, enough waffle. Because I've got coffee and card this morning at the hub, so I need to get a wriggle on and get everything packed up from when I finished on here. Okay, let's get you, move that out of the way, down onto my desk. How are you all anyway? Please let me know while you're having the view of the palm of my hand. Bear with. Oh, that was rather a hard way to unscrew my stand then. It was really stiff. So you can see if we can zoom in a bit. Hopefully. Grid paper is pretty straight. Let's try not to touch it too much. Straighten up a little bit. So, what are you up to? Oh, Lucy Ann, you had a little accident in an order A re-inker leaked all over your goodies. No, you do not want that to happen. That has happened to me before. Very rare do things like that happen, but I guess during transit, you know, we don't know what happens to our parcels once they leave the warehouse. I've had parcels that look like they've been completely sat on, completely squished. So they do put great packaging inside, but yeah, sometimes things like this do happen. Things get squashed, but that is unfortunate. And what a mess to deal with as well. You know what it's like if you've got a bit of, and sometimes our new ink pads, if they're super juicy, they will like leak a bit, and it's so messy, isn't it? Right, Petal Park, my firm favourite. You have seen me use this a lot. We've got the builder punch that coordinates with this. Absolutely fabulous. This one is £22 on its own, but if you buy it with the stamp set, it's £36. And if you purchase that right now, add on a Tombow for a couple of things for £9, and you will earn yourself a free gift. And you could choose, if this takes your fancy, the Thanks a Bunch. Now, when I saw it in the catalogue, and talking of catalogues, let me just grab mine. I think it's in my bag. I've got a jute tote that I carry stuff from my studio to the house, and I keep my catalogues in there because I could keep duplicates, I guess, but I keep them in there. So here we go. So this is what the carrots look like, which I don't dislike that. I just think there are certain people that maybe wouldn't appreciate a carrot card from me. Definitely there's a lot that would. So, but I think there's some great other things in there. Let's show you the Petal Park. Oh, I haven't made a marker on this, so it's on page 32. So you can see the punch bundle there. Punch on its own is £18, but a really sweet, really cute set and part of a suite. So it's from the Regency Park suite. You've seen the papers. You've seen me show the ribbons and the milky dots. I've got the embossing folder, which I cannot put down. But also, this is next on my wish list, the sentimental park that goes with it. So I'm really fancying that as well. So it's a lovely set of dies. That is on my wish list for next, because there's some great sentiments in there as well. So watch this space. Okie dokie. Let's put those to one side and pull out our colours, which aren't very clear to see. We've got Mossy Meadows, Soft Suede, Petal Pink and Mint Macaron. And this derived from something that I've designed for my team for Thursday, although I may have to reschedule for those of you that are stopping by. I may reschedule if the road is still closed, just because I've got some of you coming from two different directions that will both have to detour. So we'll see. I'll wait until tomorrow and decide. It could well be that the water resides a bit and they open the road, because it wasn't completely covered over. Jason went through it yesterday, went through where the flood is, and it's just a dip. It's a dip in the road. Let's bring in some kits. Sorry, I was sat there looking at nothing. There's a dip in the road where the water just hangs through, and it just makes a really small stretch of the road unpassable, and it's really annoying. But oops, and it causes so much grief, honestly. Right, Helen, it's -2 there. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm sure it's probably still that cold here. I haven't checked, but it looks beautiful outside. I can see across the fields, and I can just see a nice frosty ploughed field. Beautiful. Right, let's make a start. Okay, usual card base here, 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. Let's just fold that in half, put it to one side. I like to use my bone folder. It does just give you a nice crisp edge. And then I have 2 layers. I've got to remember what I'm doing as well. And my brain just doesn't engage very well lately. Shall we just say that? I have to remember how I created this card. So I've got 2 layers here. I've got a mint macaron, which is probably my usual 3 3/4 by 5 3, which it is. And then my layer, I've just got a skinny edge around it. So that should be 3 5/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, so those are my 2 top layering pieces. I've cut a strip from, now what is this called? Country Floral. Let me grab it. Oh, it's in a bit of a pickle because I've been cutting into it. What is it called? Country Floral. Country Floral Lane, to be precise. I think I've shown you this one, but it's adorable. It's in the beginning of the catalogue. Let's grab it and show you. Part of the suite, there's a whole suite. You know that I love this. These are definitely my colours. You know that I love the gingham paper as well. So here is the Country Floral Lane. Beautiful papers, lovely colours. We've got mint macaron, petal pink, sweet sorbet, mossy meadow. I'm sure I've shown you this before. Seen some projects done where the bicycles have been cut out. Balmy blue. Oh, look at that. I know I've got some Valentine projects that I want to create as well. There is actually a punch that coordinates with this as well. Good morning, Belle, my lovely. How are you? -2 there, but the app says feels like -4. Yeah, do you know what? You're totally right. My feelings as well. Better than rain. Most definitely. Cannot be a crispy, fresh morning, but there has to be blue sky with it because that makes all the difference. Right, let's get a wriggle on. So what do I want to do first? Right, let's take this. So I've cut a strip of that paper, going to be using that in a bit. I'm going to start with this layer. Now I've taken my dies, the Stylish Shapes, this set, and I've cut myself a circle from this one here. And what I'm going to do is grab my pencil. I hope this works. You know, like when you're just not sure if it will go right. It will. It'll be fine. Ye of little faith. And I'm just layering that over. Hopefully you're not too far away. Maybe I'll zoom it in a tint if I can. I'm getting notifications popping up on my phone as well. I have not been able to figure out how to do, since I've had the phone update on my iPhone, I'm not sure about the Do Not Disturb button, how it works. I've set it, I've scheduled it so that my phone is on Do Not Disturb from like 9:30 till 11, just in case somebody rings the gate or something and throws me out of my live. But I'm still getting pop-ups and I didn't think that would happen. My notifications like popping up on my screen. So I'm not sure. I need to speak to someone who's rather more technical than I am. Right, what I'm going to do is lightly, if I can, draw around. It doesn't have to be precise. Draw around this circle like that. I'm going to put that to one side because I can use that again. So I've literally just drawn a pencil mark. And then I've mounted up some stamps. Oh gosh, I meant to give these a clean before I came on. So I've literally been using them and just quickly cleaned them off in my chamois, and they're still a bit grubby, shall we say. Right, I'm going to start with mint macaron. I need a mat. I think I'm just going to work on here for now. Don't need any grid underneath. And then I've pulled out this stamp from the Thanks a Bunch. Excuse me. This little carrot top. Okay, so look at the foliage in here. Obviously we've got different styles of carrot. different sizes rather, and a little bunch. But you've got this little carrot top here. That's what this is. And what I'm going to do, can I remember what I did? I think so. I'm going to stamp up to the edge of my circle, and I'm going to go opposites to start with, and I'm just going to go and then infill in the gaps with 2 more. So what have you all been up to? Did you have a good weekend? Kind of came and went. I had quite a, I feel like I've been a bit housebound actually, but that's fine. I don't mind that. On Friday I had a leaders meeting in Birmingham, which was so lovely to get back into a meeting room and brainstorm things. It was really invigorating. Honestly, I had a really good day. Thankfully, the traffic was kind to me, so I made it there and back in good time. Didn't have any problems. But had a really great day on Friday. And by the time I got back, it was like evening, gone 6 o'clock. So was it gone 6 o'clock? Must have been. No, just before 6. So then it was like snacks, glass of wine, dinner, and then like I flaked out. So yeah, the weekend kind of came and went. I had Teddy on Saturday afternoon and he stayed overnight. I say I had him, we had him, but I generally look after him mostly. So that was lovely. And then he was here till Sunday mid-afternoon. Didn't really get a lot done over the weekend, shall we say, but I had a full-on day crafting yesterday because I couldn't really go anywhere. I could go somewhere, but it's not worth the hassle. You know, to sit in traffic for an hour is just a waste of life, isn't it? So had a really full-on day, got some things planned, got some new schedules planned starting from next month, but I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Right, next what I want to do, I am going to pull in my scrap now. So I've just filled around the edge of this circle. You can probably see where I'm going from here. And next I'm going to take some Mossy Meadow. I'm going to ink up this lovely kind of, to me it's like an oak leaf. Obviously it's supposed to be a carrot leaf. So it's this one here. But to me it looks like the leaf of an oak tree. And I'm going to stamp it off, and I have no idea. I'm just going to randomly fill in 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just go with it. I don't remember how many I did on my other one, but let's just like randomly stamp off and infill in the middle like that. Okay, so they're not spaced out very well, but that will be totally fine. Then I was going to put that to one side, but I'm going to do a little bit more actually. Also, we have this, which kind of works with this, but to me, this is just another splat stamp to add to my collection. So I thought I would add a bit of, I'm going to do this now. Yeah, let's do it now. Let's just add some random. So I'm going in with Mossy Meadow again and adding some random dottage, splattage, all the technical terms. Like this. It's getting bigger and bigger. To be careful what I'm doing. And then I'm going to pull this one back in. In the mint macaron. And just do a couple of random infill bits in the centre. Just to hide those little gaps. So it looks rather a mess at this point in time, but I'm hoping that you'll agree when it's done, it's worth that process. Now, we could rub out that pencil. I'll just let those splats dry a minute, and then we'll rub out that pencil. But then what I want to do is take this stamp again, which I absolutely love. You know how much I love my foliage, and honestly, foliage are just such a useful image to have. I'm going to stamp some of these. So this is Mossy Meadow. You have to be careful when you rock like that you don't get that everywhere. Let's move you back out of the way. And then I'm going to cut one for now, but I have already cut some. They're just so easy to cut. It's so much nicer cutting from this distance. Standing up and crafting is good when your eyes aren't so great. I have actually made, after speaking with you last week, I made my appointments that I needed to. I made that eye appointment, and I got one for tomorrow, which is really good, but also really bad because there's a chance that the road will still be closed, and anticipating how long it will take me to get there. My appointments, I booked an earlier, well, it's not early, but an 8:30 appointment. Let's put those to one side. Look how cute that is. But I will probably have to leave an hour to get there, which is crazy when it's literally 15 minutes away. It's madness. But who knows, hopefully the water levels will have dropped a little bit and I might be able to go on the general route. Right, I'm just rubbing out that circle I did with the pencil. And then I've cut out that one. I also need to do a little bit of stamping. Let's bring that back in. Now, you've seen me use the Petal Park. Oh, I need to, oh no, I don't, I've got it here. I just love it when we have a punch bundle. Good evening, Kim, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Love a punch bundle. For one, it makes crafting super easy, it speeds things up, but also they're a great price point as well. So in the Petal Park, it's a two-step, as I've spoken to you about before. So we've got that outline first, and I like to start with the outline and then infill with the solid colour. Of course, you could use just the outline and then add your own colour with Stampin' Blends or whatever way you like to colour. But this set it's just so quick to fill in. Right, I've got my punch ready. And what I want to do is grab some scrap. Oops. Fingers don't want to pick anything up. I have no grip. And when you're stamping with a punch, you need to stamp in the same direction as the punch will punch it out, because it will just make your life easier. So by that, I mean, for this one, we've got the large flower on the bottom right. So rather than stamping, you know, another way, if you've got a bigger piece of paper, I'm quite determined here because of my scrap, but just stamp it the way it's going to punch out. I'm going to do a couple of these. So I'm using soft suede, and I've just done pretty outline, and these are quite sweet just on their own. You don't need to infill. I'm going to pull out my Petal Pink. Then I'm going to take the shadow. You are good. That is good to know, Kim. I'm glad that you are well. I'm going to stamp off because I just want a pale addition of colour, and then we're going to line it in as best we can. This isn't lining that well. I'm wondering whether I haven't mounted it that brilliantly. That makes a massive difference as well, is how you mount your stamp. So stamp it off and do another. Try and line it in. I always find if you've got the outline first, it's much easier to use the infill stamp second. I don't know, you tell me how you do things, but I always find that it's easier to see where you're going. That does help because I'm using a pale colour as well. And then what we're going to do is line this in. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I haven't mounted my stamps the best, but that will be good enough. I'm going to punch out both of these. Line them in as best as I can without being too fussy. Me, not be too fussy. Does that ever happen? Very rarely. I laugh at myself. I'm quite happy if you're sat there chuckling at me, honestly, because I know what I'm like. Right, what do I want to do now? Oh, I need to do a little bit of die cutting. Also, I'm going to do some heat embossing. Let's do that first, and then I want to die cut that piece. So I've pulled out my white embossing powder. Let's get a little scrap. We can use this very well used piece. And I've cut a strip of black cardstock. I don't know if this is an actual measurement or whether it was actually just in my scrap. It does actually measure 1/2 inch. And I wanted to use the greetings from here. Obviously, everything's coming up carrots. I'm only going to use that when I'm actually stamping with carrots. But these you can use generally, and that you can use when you're using flowers and stuff as well. So really good, a good set of greetings in there for sure. Right, I'm going to take my embossing buddy, add some powder. Oh gosh, maybe not that much. Now I've got a very chalky background. See if we can rub some of that off a little bit. Probably putting all my oils back on here now and everything's going to stick to it. Right, I've pulled out my Versamark. Let's get the lid off of here. Ready. And I'm going to choose There's No One Quite Like You. I am just going to slide under my mat because this is photopolymer and that will just help me get a clear image. So might just do a couple and hope that one turns out well. I love how when you stamp that down it shows through. That's a little bit crooked. So let's just do a couple because once we're heating it, it's difficult to see from where I am stood. That's okay. While we've got this inked, just going to do 3. Being very careful where I touch. Get that lid on the Versamark because we don't want any powder going in there. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that, the Versamark on there. Just tip some powder over. Do those 2 first. Now, ideally, use a pot like I do with my gold. I haven't got to put in this white in a pot yet. I didn't have another fresh takeaway container. We rarely have a takeaway here. For one, we're like a million miles away from a takeaway. By the time you get it home, it would be cold. And 2, we never have been massive takeaway people. Right, let's give that a shake off. Get the lid back on that embossing powder because we do not want any accidents happening with that. And you know how clumsy I am. Right, I'm just going to have a quick look. Make sure there's no extra bits that are going to emboss. So So before you actually heat it, you need to have a really good look and make sure there's no kind of flyaway bits. Get that heat tool going and warmed up for a minute. And then we'll heat these. Remember to be careful. If you've got the heat tool set, not the heat tool, the embossing set, forget what its actual name is. I'm sure there are tweezers in there, which would be very handy. Let's start at this end. It's going to bend a little. Don't know if you'll be able to see it turn. Whoops. Let's get the heat on the top. It's blowing it up. Okay, always make sure you've heated all of it. And as we've got it on, we'll just heat all of these in one go and then choose the best one. So before it actually melts it does look a bit hit and miss, the powder, but once it melts it kind of brings it all together and sort of solidifies into a much clearer image. Okay, I think we are done. Turn that off. So they are quite crisp. There's no one quite like you. That makes me think of that song. There's no one quite like Grandma. Does anyone remember that? I think that's very old. Right, I'm just going to snip that off. Put those to one side. Then we've got our little greeting that's heat embossed. It's nice to have. It gives it like a bit of texture. And then I think we can start building up. Oh, let me just cut this. Now, I'm pulling out again my Old Faithful Cracker and Treat die. I'm just going to use the edge to run along. And all I do with this is I'll pop that down. Pop that on there like that. Let's grab some washi tape. Tape that down. I'm going to run that through, but I'm only going to run it to there. Don't need to run it all the way through. I'm just going to run it to that edge and then run it back on itself. So it's a very quick process. Get rid of that bit. Save that for later, and there you can see we've just got that lovely scallop edge. I wish we had a scallop edge punch again. As tricky as it was to use sometimes, I don't think I've got one still from years ago, but just love a scallop edge. Of course, in the, what's it called? Penned flowers? Let me grab it. Yeah, penned flowers. We have this lovely scallopy border as well, which I equally love. And then what we're going to do, that should be wide enough. I'm going to snip off this excess bit, so I don't want it to pop above. I don't think it would, but then I've got a strip of the Country Floral Lane. Floral Country Lane, which way is it? Let me remind myself. Country Floral. And just going to adhere both of those together. Let's chop off roughly what we need. You're all very quiet this morning. Are you all multitasking? Right, let's just adhere these two together. I had good intentions of trying out my new nail polish that Sophie bought me for Christmas this morning, and even though I was up earlier and over here earlier this morning, just didn't get to it. And I left it, it was at a point, it was about 9:10. I thought, shall I do my nails? And then I thought, if it goes wrong, it could be a disaster. So I need to allow time to do that kind of task. Right, I'm going to lay this little scallopy border down at the bottom of my card front. So let's line that up. And just up from the bottom. And we want like half and half a scallop hanging over the edge. I think that's square. So I like to try and have like the same kind of, sorry you can't even see that, overhang hanging off. I'm going to turn it around and just snip from behind. Oops, I've cut into my card. I'm going to pop that in my trimmer. That will just be easier to just take a little slither off. I went in a bit too close then. Cut those off. So we end up with like a half of a scallop either side. Right, what's next? Let's now put this onto our mint macaron layer. And then we can add that to our base and then finish off. It looks a right mess like this. And I think I've probably gone a little bit too big with my wreath, but we shall see. Let's pop that straight down onto our base. And then we've got all the layers together. So, yeah, I haven't really left the house very much. I had class here Thursday. Friday, although Friday I left the house, of course, because I was at the meeting, which was good, but I didn't go anywhere Saturday, didn't go anywhere Sunday. I only whizzed to the deli yesterday to get some ham at the hub. So haven't really been very far. Right, what do I need? Leaves. I've got a whole bunch that I've done ahead of time. You know that I love a bit of fussy cutting. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to do my usual curling trick, just to give it a bit of life, make it not look so flat. Belle, you haven't got this punch bundle. No, I love it, absolutely love it. We're using it for our team training this month. I don't know if you heard me saying earlier, but I will assess the road closure tomorrow. And if it's closed, it may be that we reschedule to next week. Just because it causes, it's not a massive detour, but probably between 5 and 10 minute detour each way. I don't know, maybe longer. I mean, in rush hour, I would definitely not have people come because it's just horrendous. So... right, just adding mini dimensionals on the backs of these. And then let's take all the covers off. Yeah, I absolutely adore the Petal Park. Such a good price point as well. And I'm just going to lay these down and hope that this works. Because no two wreaths will ever be, oh, I haven't pulled the back off, ever be the same. I think I need one more, don't I? I miscounted. Miscounted, let's have one more. Yeah, I've got a busy day today. It's like a week of appointments today. A week of appointments this week even. So I've got coffee and card, then I've got the doctors later. So I just layered those up on top. then take some flowers. And then I've got eye appointment tomorrow morning. Doctors again on Thursday. We've got an architect coming on Thursday morning to give us some advice on what we want to do around here. Yeah, it's one of those weeks, and I really don't want to cancel my eye appointment tomorrow unless I really have to, because I'm just going to my little pot of goodness for some more flowers, because I really need to get my eyes done. I thought I had some more flowers punched. Let's just punch another set. So quick and easy. Also, I need to book. I've still got 2 more things to book. I need to book another dentist appointment. Got to have another head scan. And I need to book Alfie in for a hair trim because he is looking like the Grinch at present, which is okay on days like today, but with all the wet weather we've had, it's hard work having wet paws. Right, let's just give these flowers some life as well. So I'm not using the larger flower for this wreath card. Now, if you don't fancy the Thanks a Bunch set, you can of course use any kind of foliage that you've got to create this, but I just wanted to show a bit more purpose for this set. For those of you that are looking in that Sale-a-Bration brochure and wondering, why have we got carrots? So, and if I got them, I like part of it, but what am I going to do with it? So I'm going to start with a large flower. I'm going to alternate, larger one, smaller one. And just pop them around. Could just use the small ones for this. But I thought, let's just go with the 2 different sizes. Right, I've just like temporarily stuck them down, so I can still move them about a bit if I want to. I think that's okay. So just make sure they're all stuck, because remember we've got leaves on dimensionals underneath. So we've just got them all. It's quite 3D, this card. And then, who loves this ribbon? Good morning, Kerry. How are you doing? Yeah, that's right, Barb. That would make a lovely wedding or anniversary card. This gingham ribbon is beautiful. It's in black and white. You've got 9 meters on here, just over 9 meters. I adore it. It's just, what width is it? 1/4 of an inch. It's so sweet. I've been using it a lot lately. And although I've got tons on here, I'm already thinking that I need to order another roll for when it runs out. That's when you know that you love something, don't you? That you already want more before it's even all gone. So I'm just going to create a little bow. How much of a tail do I want? Here he comes. I wish he wouldn't sit down there in the hallway when it's so chilly down there. Right, let's just pull that nice and tight. Pull the opposite tails. Get the tails going in the right direction. Now, larger scissors are always good for cutting ribbon. These are no longer available, but they were a Stampin' Up product many moons ago. Just going to snip off. So a good sharp pair of scissors that you use for your ribbon only is a very good idea, because it blunts it, doesn't it? Is it the ribbon blunts or the paper blunts? I know for like sewing, you shouldn't cut fabric with one that you cut thread with, something like that. Right, we're going to pop that one. Let's get a glue dot. Roll it up. And we're going to pop it at the top. Which way round do I want it? Why does that loop look bigger than the other one? Don't think it matters. I'm just going to pop that one up there. Now you can kind of like tuck these behind if you want to, so that they don't kind of, oh, I can't get it behind there. All fingers today. If you don't want it kind of in the way, you can sort of wedge it out of the way a bit. Let's just let it do its thing. And then finally, and I am not seeing it, it's disappeared, my greeting. It's definitely disappeared. I don't know where it's gone to, but it's hiding. It's obviously stuck on the back of something. I know this happens to you all the time, and as much as probably on the back of one of my inks maybe. No, it has disappeared. It's a good job that we had more. See, this is why we always do more than one. Let's use that one, it's a bit straighter. It will turn up when I've finished. What annoys me the most is that I know it's there somewhere, and it turns up just when you've done what you needed to do, or redone what you needed to do, and then it like magically appears, and I can't see it on the floor anywhere. It's not stuck to me, it's not stuck to my elbows. Who knows where it went? I'm still looking, see, I'm like, I need to find it. I'm going to stop now and just stick this on. Just take a couple, pulled the back off of that one already. Couple of mini dimensionals and pop that one on. And then I'm literally going to call that one done. There is a little dot of white there, and sometimes take the end of, I'm going to take your pick tool, I might be able to kind of just like rub it out, like pull it off of the cardstock. And I kind of thought I would call that done, but then I thought, there's my original, my bow's a little bit bigger and higher, and then I thought, does it need a bit of bling? So I'm going to put a bit of bling on one of them, and then we can decide which we think. Now, I quite like the champagne basic jewels when I'm using like Petal Pink or Blushing Bride, because I just think they blend in well. So I think I'm going to go with that. And then we'll just see, it may just be like too much. That's what I was worried, that it might just look a little OTT. And I think we'll go medium size for the larger flowers. And then the smaller, teeny tiny ones for the small flowers. By the way, I'm still on that last piece of putty. I keep moving it about. I've got a new one to go in. Right here. There's my fresh one, ready to go in. Thank you, Lisa. I wasn't 100% sure about this project. I mean, it's quite cute, but I didn't know whether it was just too faff. But the fussy cutting will get you. But if you've got, you know, a die with a leaf, that might help a bit. What do we think? To bling or not to bling? I want to kind of like tuck that behind there somehow without it It's not going to work. Leave it, Kerry, stop it. Maybe less flowers would be the question. Bling or no bling? So I just thought that was a good way of using. We've used 1, 2, 3 of the like randomy stamps in here. By the way, I love that, those little like dash lines, and I love these dots as well. So watch this space for more things to come with this set. So me being me, I couldn't leave it at that. So you like the bling, Kerry? Kim, you like the bling as well? Helen, you love it, always bling. Yeah, it just gives it that sparkle, doesn't it? I've got another project for you. I've got a 3D project for you now. Because you know I love to create for you. Let's pull all of this in. Goodness me, look at all of this. Move those, put those back in my pot for later. And just think for a minute what I am actually doing. Because I've got one project here, but 3 different parts of it. Right, let us start. Let's put these pieces. That is one project. This is another project. I want that piece, leftover piece from earlier. And then that's another bit again. Right, I'm going to pull in my scoreboard. So I'm going to do a little bit of scoring. Let's just turn my charger off. Don't like to waste energy. My Mac is fully charged. Right. What have we got? We have a sheet of basic white and it measures 7.5, where are my instructions, by the length of an A4 sheet. So it's just over 11 5/8. Okay, it's not quite 11 3/4. And what I'm going to do is pop it in landscape and score it at, and I hope I've written the measurements down right because I haven't rerun through this. 1 1/4, 5.5, 6 3/4, and 11 inches. Okay, and then we're going to turn it portrait and score at 1 1/4. Okay, so you won't be able to see this very well. It'll be better when I fold it. Then I've got 2 pieces of mint macaron and they measure 4 inches by 8 1/4. Now you could make this slightly skinnier at 3 7/8 and you would get 3 of these panels from one A4 sheet. And I don't think it would make a massive amount of difference to my project. So something I would consider doing. So there's 2 pieces of that. And we are simply going to score, just need to check my measurement. I think I know what it should be. Going to score them at 1 inch. Both of them on landscape at 1 inch. Okay, so we've got 2 pieces with a score down there, which is very hard to show you. And that's it for scoring. So really simple scoring. You know I love a 3D project. You know I love to give something very inexpensive and random and turn it into something that just looks lovely. Right, what I'm going to do is trim out the bottom. Right, I've got to be careful I don't dip this in the ink over there. The bottom corner. And then I'm going to cut where this score line is here. I'm going to cut up each vertical line to that horizontal one. Oh, it's hard to see the white with the reflection, well, the glare of my light. And then I'm going to just carefully crease that down there. So that's that bottom panel. And then we'll just fold these in and score all those vertical ones. And then this little one at the end, just kind of like encourage it over and then do it from underneath. It's much easier. Okay, while we're just burnishing score lines, do these as well. So I'm just going to fold that over and score. So you have two pieces like this. Okay. Right. Next, I have got a panel of mint macaron, which measures for, so this is where I would consider these two pieces being 3 7/8, because then you could make this one 3 7/8 as well, and you'd get all these 3 panels from one sheet. So I don't think it will make a lot of difference. Something I should have thought about it until after I'd cut everything and stuck everything. I thought that would have made more sense. So it measures 4 inches by 6 inches. Alfie here. And then we've got a layer that's just 1/8 smaller at 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And then what I'm going to do is take my ruler and my pencil and draw a random line. Now, let me just have a quick measure. It doesn't really matter where it is. I'm going to say about 2 inches up, which will be about there. I think that's right. Doesn't really matter. Let's do it straight there. Gosh, my grid paper's very crooked. Just a really gentle, delicate line so it's not too hard to rub out after. Okay, just got a really faint line. Then pull back in the mats. Pull back in our carrot top foliage. I wonder if there's an actual technical name. I love that. I grow my own veg, and there's nothing better than pulling your own carrots and having all that lovely green foliage at the top. Just love it. And what I'm going to do is on that line, let's start in the middle, that would be sensible. Just going to go along the line and add some greenery down the bottom there. And then, as I did before, let's pull in the mossy meadow, ink up this, look at all that ink around the edge, that makes me nervous. Stamp it off. And I'm going to do one in the middle, and then one either side. So we've just got that, like a little line. Doesn't have to be mega straight. And then I need a couple more. I've already done a little greeting. Hey there, I like that, it's really cute. And we're gonna have 1, 2, maybe 3 more of those leaves I've cut ready. Are we having a large flower? No. I will need that in a minute. What flowers have I got? I've got a small one. Might just have to punch some more. I've got some ready done, so let's just punch another set. You will hear me say often that when I'm inking up stamps, I will take full advantage of using them before I have to clean them. So I usually stamp like a whole row of something, and then it sits by the side of me in a little pile, and when I need to create a card or something, then I will use them up. Right, let's do the same with these. So I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. Give them a curl. Give these a bit of life. So what are you all up to today? What's on the agenda? And then I've got this leftover piece from earlier, and I've already cut another piece from the cracker die. So I'm going to trim that roughly to a length. Add some Tombow. What are we doing for time? Abstain. I just put my fingers in that Tombow as well, which isn't ideal. Just add that little border to it. Just give my hands a wipe. And then I'm going to pop that I'll get another card out of that piece. I'm going to pop that down towards the bottom. So a bit of Tombow on the back. My back is not loving me for going live today. I'm going to add that one up just from the bottom. I'm lining up with my grid paper. The bottom of the scallop, I'm following a line either side. And then we'll trim off, try not to trim the card off this time. And then on this one, I thought rather than a bow, we'd just add some ribbon. Oops. So I'm just going to take a glue dot and add it just behind where that panel is with the scallop on. That should be at the same height. And then pop on this little border and just tuck it behind so it hits that glue dot, if you put it in the right place. Oh, I've just realised as well, the way I've done that, the hearts are upside down on that bottom bit because they go opposites, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. Maybe I'll push that up a bit so we can see the hearts up the other way. And then I'm going to mount that down onto the mint macaron. Just clean the end of my glue. Getting a bit low on this one. In fact, I'm low on stocks of adhesives. I ordered loads and now I'm running low. I've got more on the way. Just mount that on. So we've just got a really narrow border behind. Like that. So we just got our border and then our stamped border. And then to this, we'll add, as we did before, a little mini dimensional. Helen, you're working, filming later and making your swaps. Oh, you're doing the UK demo swap. I would like to have taken part, but time is against me. And there are just some things that I have to say no to. I'm just wondering where to put these. Randomly putting them in. Don't think it really matters. So I've just popped 3 in the middle there, very randomly. Yeah, I was spent a bit of time yesterday afternoon planning for February. I'm going to be changing my schedule, so I am planning to only go live on here no, I need to look at my schedule. I'm going to grab my planner and just see. If I've got my notes clear. My notes aren't making sense to me. Oh, 1st and 3rd Tuesday will be a Facebook Live. Then I'm going to do, on one of the other Tuesdays, I'm going to do an event here in the studio in the afternoon. And then the other Tuesday, if we've got like extra, if there's something that I don't do, then I will try and pop on live, you know, extra. But yeah, the other Tuesday, I'm planning to do like an online class. So I will be live in a private group for those who want to partake and be with me live. But there will be the option to like purchase kits or purchase a tutorial or just pay to join me live while I teach a class. So that's my plans. I'm going to be holding a couple more classes in the studio as well, a couple of daytime and an evening one as well. Right, I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals behind my hay there. So trying to make good use of what time I have. You're going off for a chilly trot. Okay, Belle, thank you for stopping by. I'll be in touch anyway about Thursday. Right, I'm just going to pop that down straight if possible, like that. And that layer is done. And what I'm going to do, so you'll be able to see now how this kind of box bag has been cut. So I've just cut up the bottom tabs, cut out that narrow edge, and then I'm going to attach this to the front. So this is where this panel wouldn't hurt being a bit narrower on each edge. Do you remember I said it was 4? If we did it at 3 7/8, it would just be in a little bit. So let's just pop that down centrally. I feel like we should add bling at this point. I know somebody's got a poorly paw here as well. He was limping a bit yesterday. Trouble is, he's getting an old man. He's 9 now, bless him. And he moves so quick. He just moves so quick, and he keeps like, he must be like twisting or pulling a muscle or something, and then he's hobbling about for a bit, and then he recovers quickly. So I didn't want to take him anywhere yesterday, because it was quite a nice day, and it would be nice to go today, but I don't want to make it worse. I'm not sure if it will make it worse. So knowing what to do for the best, isn't it? Right, and all we're going to do is turn this into a box. Now we can do this on the flat by just adding adhesive to that tab, and then when it's flat that will come together. But let's just put it together so you can see what I'm doing. I'm literally just joining these 2 edges together like that, giving a pinch. So So we end up, oh, I forgot to, while it's still squishable, let's just rub out that line that I can see there. Don't think you can see any of the rest. And then we'll pop the sides in first and then the back. So a bit of glue on there, pop the back in, and then the front will go over last, like that. So we get a nice fold over the front, and then we'll just take something long in, give it a little press down so that it sticks. And there we've got a nice box. You could progress from this. You could add a lid to this. Okay, you could add a fold over lid at this point, but I wanted something just a little bit different. So what I'm going to do next, so that's the base done. I'm going to pull out these two pieces that I showed you earlier, and we're literally going to stick these two tabs together. So we're just going to put Tombow on there and stick them together. Oh, they're slightly different length. Might have to trim that a bit. Slightly different width. I do try and cut accurately. Can you see there? We just got a little bit of difference. So what I'm going to do is pop that in my trimmer and just take that little edge off very carefully, if I can. That's better. And then we end up with a piece that looks like this, okay? Just make sure that is stuck nicely. I'm going to put that to one side, because that is then going to sit inside here like this. So the final thing I wanted to do, I love it when you find a chocolate bar that just coordinates so perfectly with our colours. It just brings me joy, so much joy. So all we're going to do on this one is just pull back in another leaf. I need another small flower and I haven't got one, so I'm going to have to punch some more. Did have a whole strip of, I did stamp just the small flowers on a long strip. Don't know what I've done with that. Right, let's just line that in. Silence. I think we want that one. That one and that one. Yeah, how lovely, but such a shame it's been torn. I don't know whether that's broken the seal, but I might just have to eat it and try it. Crispy coffee. I love a Ritter bar. You do so much with these. Sainsbury's do a good variety of Ritter bars, so I'm always on the lookout. So all I'm doing is let me measure this for you. That would be useful. And it's not a specific measurement. You could make it shorter. So my piece of petal pink measures 3.5 by 9 inches. And I'm just sort of breaking down the fibres a bit because I want to bend this around my chocolate bar, but I don't want to actually put in specific score lines. I'm just going to bend it around. And it will crease a little bit, but I'm not worried about that at all. So I'm just going to wrap that around. Let's start at the back. That's the best way to go. Start at the back wrap it around. Can you see we get a bit of creasage? I'm not worried about that. And then we'll just join these together. So bit of Tombow on either edge and just hold it for a minute. I just think why we don't need to put proper, you could put proper score lines in, measure this, but that's just like extra hassle. Okay, and then I want my chocolate bar to be this way up because that's the way that I've designed it to go into my holder. And then we're going to add some of this paper. This is the reverse of the side that I've used, and this is probably an inch. Don't need all of that. Let's save as much as that as we can. That's an inch wide. And we'll just pop a bit of Tombow on either end and join those two up. Gosh, that met perfectly. That wasn't calculated at all. Okay, so we've got this. It's a bit, could have maybe pulled it a bit tighter, but it's fine. Then we're just going to simply put a bit of foliage and some flowers on. We do have time, 11:15. I've got an hour until I have to leave, and I need to pack my bags to go as well. I'm going to pop dimensional behind my foliage. I'm just going to pop these flowers on first though. You can hear a helicopter. Pop the larger one on here. Tuck the little one under. And then just add in a bit of foliage. So nothing rocket science there. You could, you know, do a bit of background stamping on here. Let's have a large one for the center and a small one for the center of the small one. And then I found a mint macaron paper clip. You may have some nice clips. And I've just tied a knot in the gingham ribbon. Where's my card? And then I thought we could pop the card in. Maybe put the chocolate bar in first. That's quite heavy. Pop the chocolate bar in. See, we have got a little bit of, if we made it 3 7/8, you would see this popping out of the outsides, which isn't maybe ideal, but it pops out a little bit already. Pop the clip on. Slide it in, and there you have that feels lovely. The weight on that, a really nice little gift box. Not using a lot of product really, mostly white cardstock, bit of ribbon, and then when they open it up, you can pull out their card, and then they've got a matching bar of chocolate as well. I did also find, I don't know if that'll come off very easily, caramelized almonds. Goodness me, doesn't quite blend the colour, but there we go. So simple but adorable, I think. Actually, let's leave them out. As a little gift ensemble, literally pieces of cardstock, a bit of time, but the punch just makes light work of everything. Okay, I know there's lots of fussy cutting with the leaves, but if you don't have the thanks a bunch, then you could use something else in its place. But I just wanted to show that that set is not all about the carrots, that there is more to it. And I love this ensemble of, you know, the dottage, the small part of the top of the leafage on the carrot, you know, just how you can use things. If you just look closely at what you've got, you'd be surprised what you can do. Thank you. It seems like you all like it. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Kim. Hi, Julie. How are you doing? And thank you. Thank you, Kerry. So yeah, so really, really inexpensive, simple scoring, couple of sheets of cardstock, well, 2.5 sheets of cardstock, 3 sheets of cardstock. So, but what a lovely gift to give someone. I've got another one that I've done here, but I've just stolen the clip off the top. But just think where you could go from that. Okay, I think I will probably be doing something else with this box, creating a different opening on it. So watch this space. But a favourite of mine, Petal Park, great value at £36 with that punch. Get this one for free if you spend £45. Or choose one of the other lovely gifts. There are so many nice ones in here. There's some beautiful papers. You saw me use the owls, and the owls have gone a little bit crazy on. I've had lots of likes. What have I done with them? Lots of likes on my Instagram cards that I did last week. So super cute. So we've got owls and carrots. The lovely dainty flowers, which of course go with the Dainty Delight bundle. You've got a Day at the Farm papers. They are lovely in flesh. You've got a lovely sentiment stamp. Favoured flowers, which I've got but I haven't used yet, but I love the colours in there. In the Country, I haven't got that one yet, and at the leaders meeting on Friday there were some samples that somebody created and they were beautiful, so I'm feeling inspired to get that set. And then the Beautifully Happy, which you've seen me use, absolutely adore that. The papers, you cannot miss these papers. They're such great value as a free gift when you spend £90. Of course, we've got the join offer where you can earn extra free goodies in your kit. You can choose to get the blue machine or the white machine for just £25 more, £26 more than the standard price of our kit. So definitely lots of food for thought. There's another carrot one there on the back. So take from it what you can. That's what I say. You know, just take from it what you can. I hope you've enjoyed my projects. I really do need to dash, tidy up this mess and get my head around what I need to take with me for coffee and cards. So thank you all so much for joining me. If you're catching me on the replay, please do say hello. And if you found me on YouTube, thank you for stopping by. Please do subscribe, because I do post, I do go live every week. And even though I'm going to be changing my schedule a bit from February, there will be still more YouTubes coming up. So yeah, stay connected. Thank you all for sticking with me, and I will catch you all very, very soon. So bye for now.